Have you ever stopped to think about why some millionaires lose everything overnight, while others build empires that withstand crises and generations? The difference isn't in the numbers in their bank account, but in something much deeper that no modern financial guru dares to reveal. Welcome to the Power Stories channel. Today, we're going to unveil the 3 most powerful secrets of the man who amassed so much wealth that the Bible states silver became as common as stones in his kingdom. We're talking about Solomon, the king who transformed eternal principles into tangible prosperity, and whose strategies remain more relevant than any day trading or digital marketing technique. Solomon's first secret is so revolutionary that it will challenge everything you've learned about wealth accumulation. In Proverbs 22:1 he reveals, "A good name is more desirable than great riches. To be esteemed is better than silver or gold." Imagine your name as a stock on the stock market of life. Every promise kept, every word honored, every act of integrity makes this stock soar. Meanwhile, every small slip-up, every broken commitment, every ethical shortcut drastically lowers its value in the market of human trust. Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx and a self-made billionaire, understood this principle when she turned down million-dollar offers to compromise the quality of her products early in the company's history. The result? She built a $1.2 billion brand based primarily on the absolute trust of her customers. Pause now and reflect. If tomorrow you lost all your money but kept your reputation intact, how long would it take you to rebuild your wealth? Now reverse it. If you kept all your money but completely lost your reputation, how much would your wealth be worth without people's trust? This is the paradox that Solomon understood millennia before modern branding theories. Your reputation is your true asset. While many contemporary entrepreneurs invest fortunes in marketing and ignore the real experience of their customers, true market leaders know that every interaction is an opportunity to build or destroy their most valuable asset. Consider the practical case of 2 financial advisors in your city. The first promises extraordinary returns, aggressively closes sales, and disappears after receiving the commission. The second sets realistic expectations, maintains transparent communication, and celebrates every small client victory as their own. When the storm comes, and it always does in the world of investments, who survives? The one whose reputation built an army of loyal advocates. Warren Buffett, the Oracle of Omaha, summarized this principle when he said, "It takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it." If you think about that, you'll do things differently. The practical strategy we extract from Solomon is clear. Before every business decision, ask the golden question. Does this action strengthen or weaken my long-term reputation? Start treating your credibility as your greatest investment, because it is. Here's the transformative exercise for this week. Identify 3 promises you've made to clients, partners, or family members that you haven't fully kept yet. Dedicate yourself to honoring them, even if it means sacrificing time or resources. Observe how this simple act changes the energy around you and begins to attract new opportunities. What separates the truly prosperous from the merely rich is understanding that money is a consequence, not a cause. The primary cause of sustainable abundance is the trust your name evokes. How have you been cultivating your reputation? Does it work in your favor even when you're not in the room? Have you ever wondered why so many entrepreneurs fall into the trap of burnout, even while following all the productivity tips on the market? Why do some work 18 hours a day and barely make ends meet, while others, with half that time, build empires? Solomon presents us with the second secret to extraordinary prosperity in one of the most well-known and least understood passages of Scripture. In Ecclesiastes 3:1 he reveals, "There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens." This isn't just a beautiful verse for wall art. It's the most powerful resource allocation strategy that has ever existed. The wisest king in history understood what modern billionaires like Bill Gates rediscovered. True power lies not in working more, but in working at the right rhythm. Gates, known for his think weeks, periods of isolation dedicated solely to strategic reflection, applies Solomon's principle of honoring different times exactly. He understood that there's a time to execute frantically and a sacred time to step back to visualize the complete picture. Our world glorifies perpetual motion, the hustle culture that celebrates sleeping 4 hours and working while others rest. But observe the true masters in any field. They master not only the art of intense action, but primarily the discipline of strategic retreat. Jeff Bezos, even while scaling Amazon in its most aggressive period, never gave up his 8 hours of sleep. "I make better decisions when I'm fully energized," he stated. This is not a confession of weakness. It's the direct application of Solomon's principle of honoring the natural rhythms of life. Extraordinary prosperity doesn't come from perpetuating the cycle of doing, but from consciously alternating between 4 essential modes. Time to dream, visualize the future, and define the vision. Time to plan, structure strategies and prepare resources. Time to execute, implement actions with total focus. Time to evaluate, analyze results and extract learnings. When you skip any of these phases, you break the natural flow of creating lasting value. How many projects have failed because someone jumped from dreaming directly to execution without adequate planning time? How many opportunities have been lost because someone executed incessantly without stopping to evaluate and recalibrate? Here's the immediate practical application. Identify which of these 4 phases you've been stuck in for too long. If you're an eternal dreamer, force yourself into the planning phase. If you only execute non-stop, immediately schedule a 24-hour retreat for evaluation. Brazilian entrepreneur Flavio Augusto understood this principle when he established his strategist days, moments when he completely steps away from operations to think. It was on one of these days that he conceived Wise Up Online, which transformed his company from millions to billions. The vital question is, have you been controlling your time, or have you allowed external circumstances to determine your rhythm? Is there a sacred balance between your phases of expansion and contraction, or have you been living in perpetual imbalance? As Solomon reminded us, there is a time to plant and a time to harvest. Trying to harvest at planting time is as unproductive as trying to plant at harvest time. Wisdom lies in discerning the times and aligning your actions with the divine rhythm of creation. There's a reason why you can follow all the investment, marketing, and sales strategies in the world and still feel like you're rowing against the tide. This third principle of Solomon is the catalytic element that transforms effort into results, and its absence explains why so many work hard and achieve little. In Proverbs 16:3, Solomon reveals the final secret. Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans. This isn't just a religious recommendation. It's the deepest insight into strategic alignment ever conceived, translated into contemporary language. When your work serves a purpose greater than yourself, invisible forces begin to conspire in your favor. Howard Schultz, in transforming Starbucks from a small coffee shop in Seattle into a global phenomenon, wasn't just selling caffeine. He was creating what he called a third place between home and work, where communities could form. This transcendent purpose attracted not only customers, but also investors, talented employees, and opportunities that no marketing strategy could buy. Compare 2 entrepreneurs. The first starts a solar energy business thinking exclusively about the potential profit in the sector. The second creates a company in the same segment, but driven by the mission of democratizing access to clean energy for underserved communities. Even with identical technical competence, who do you believe will attract the best talent, strategic partnerships, and loyal customers? Exactly, the one whose purpose resonates beyond the bank statement. Oprah Winfrey synthesized this principle when she said, "Create the highest, grandest vision possible for your life, because you become what you believe." She understood that her media empire should serve the elevation of human consciousness, and this greater purpose attracted abundance on an unimaginable scale. This is the alchemy that Solomon mastered. When you consecrate, dedicate, align, connect your work to something greater than the simple accumulation of resources, you unlock flows of prosperity inaccessible to those who operate solely by transactional logic. Oil magnate John D. Rockefeller, even in the midst of building one of the greatest fortunes in history, maintained the habit of donating 10% of every dollar he earned. Even before he became rich, he attributed his extraordinary success to this practice of aligning with a greater purpose, stating, "I never would have been able to give as much as I have given if I hadn't begun to give systematically when I had nothing." Here's the transformative exercise. Dedicate a full hour to answering the question: if money were no object, what unique contribution would I make to the world through my work? The answer will reveal your true purpose. Then, identify 3 concrete ways to realign your current activities with that greater purpose. The difference between the merely successful and the truly prosperous lies not in the techniques they use, but in the energy that drives them. When you work only for money, you compete with millions in the same situation. When you work for a purpose, you activate forces that transcend competition. As Solomon himself said in another moment of wisdom, as water reflects a face, so a person's heart reflects the person. Your external success will always be the exact reflection of your internal alignment. What does your heart truly seek through your work? This is the question that separates those who perpetually struggle for survival from those who enter the abundant flow of prosperity with purpose. Before we conclude this dive into Solomon's principles of extraordinary wealth, reflect: which of these 3 secrets resonates most deeply with the moment you're living in now? The building of an unshakable reputation, the mastery of the cycles of action and reflection, or the transcendent alignment with a greater purpose? If this content touched your entrepreneurial soul, now is the time to act. Subscribe to the Power Stories channel right now, activate the notification bell, and join our community of seekers who are applying ancient wisdom to thrive in modern times. In the next video, we'll reveal how Alexander the Great built a transcontinental empire using 3 leadership principles that you can implement immediately in your business. Prepare for strategies that no MBA course dares to teach. Remember, true prosperity isn't just about having more. It's about becoming more. Until our next meeting.